afternoon. Now, there is a gym right next door to us here at Mountain Top that is rather unique because it's a gym and it's a foundation. You're probably familiar with the name No Barriers. And really, it's all in the name because they don't want any barriers, whether you've a serious injury or a disability or another health problem that might, limit you with exercising. They welcome everyone, as well as anyone that just wants to go to a few classes a week or work on their strength and conditioning or whatever. And it's a not-for-profit foundation. The CEO is Johnny Loughrey. No stranger to the show, but always good to see Johnny. How are you?
Thank you for having me on, John.
No problem. Good to talk. Just tell me, just give us a little bit of background, I suppose, about it. The ethos behind it. It is the aim is to have it as all inclusive as is possible.
Yeah. So I suppose the aim of the No Barriers Foundation is that we can provide services and access to people with physical disability, intellectual disability, and mental health, but to do it in a socially inclusive environment. So I suppose from my background as a physiotherapist, I was seeing that there are plenty of gyms in Ireland, and there were, rehabilitation services and specialist services that were being delivered. But for me, a lot of the time they were exclusive. The kind of medical services or specialist services are delivered in an environment that kind of separates those that need the services from mainstream public. And I suppose the aim of No Barriers was that I wanted to merge the two. And I suppose from a cost saving and a footprint perspective as well, I was seeing that a lot of the infrastructure and the equipment that you have in mainstream gyms can be used to provide these specialist services. And by doing it side by side, you create that social inclusion. So it's
when you say a lot of the equipment in regular gyms can provide these services, do you not have some specialist equipment as well?
Yeah, we do have specialist equipment as well, such as robotic suits and equipment. It's called Hure Specialist Strength Equipment. That's from Finland, but this specialist equipment is quite expensive, and the foundation has been lucky enough to get grants from the likes of Pobble and European Leader Funding to get these types of equipment as a charity. But you'll find that probably 90% of the equipment that we have can be found of a lot of different gyms in Ireland, and really,
Okay.
I suppose
Used by anybody.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And I suppose that's what we're trying to create as well, as the awareness. Everybody in January now is talking about New Year's resolutions and needing to get into the gym and stay fit and healthy and strong. And for me, I think it's getting that message across to someone who might have a physical disability or an intellectual disability or even be struggling with their mental health a little bit, is that getting out and exercising and improving your health and well-being is the most important thing, and
Absolutely.
And No Barriers can help with that.
Okay, so if I'm recovering from a stroke, or if I have some heart problems, or if I'm struggling with my mental health, I don't want to be going to a gym where okay, right, well, we have a special program for you. You'll have to go in there, and they meet there once a week over in that corner, and you can rock up there about 8:00. The gym, it's everybody mixing together for the most part. There's some special programs. Is that right?
Yeah, so we would, I suppose, provide different services, and No Barriers would be trying to create a pathway for that social inclusion. But we're also very aware that there's a time and place, and sometimes people want that little bit more privacy. And so No Barriers, we're lucky enough that in the foundation we have a separate area where we might carry out one-to-one rehabilitation services like physiotherapy and occupational therapy and psychotherapy. And if someone comes in and they're starting their fitness journey, we can give them that little bit of privacy and create an environment that they feel comfortable in. And as and when they feel able, we can transition across into like the mainstream gym classes. So I suppose we can work side by side with someone to make sure that the journey for them from maybe needing that wee bit more support and one-to-one help and advice, and transitioning then into the community is done at a pace that they feel comfortable with, and we're helping them along that journey. Yeah.
Okay, how accessible is it? So let's say I finish my rehab for whatever it is, whether I've had a heart attack or dislocated shoulder or whatever. Then how accessible is it to take my rehab or to continue training with yourselves?
Yeah, so I suppose people can access the foundation through various means. We do take referrals from specialists, but one of the nice things about No Barriers is that people can contact us directly, and we can help you on your rehabilitation and fitness journey as well. So it's literally as easy as lifting the phone, emailing us, just getting in contact via whatever means you feel comfortable with, and we can either help you directly, or we can be liaising with health professionals that you've worked with previously. But people can book in, I suppose, as a social enterprise. We have multiple funding streams. We're a charity and not-for-profit organisation, and we would have some programs and some funding streams that might be fully funded by the HSE in some instances, or groups like Rethink Ireland or the LDC or other organisations, where people can then access the services free of charge through ourselves. But as a social enterprise, we also offer a subsidised service model whereby if you need help directly, we then try and provide the services to you for a cost, but we make that as cheap and accessible as we possibly can. The easiest way I can try and explain it to someone is, if the service isn't fully funded, that it's almost like having really good private health cover. So the foundation works really hard to try and get grants and do fundraising events and get donations, and we also subsidise the specialist services from our gym memberships, and then we try and provide the services that you need to pay for in as cheap a way and accessible a way as we possibly can.
Okay, yeah. It's not possible to cover all the costs from regular gym memberships. It has to be topped up with, sponsored runs and draws and stuff.
Yeah, so we work really hard behind the scenes to try and, I suppose, generate as much fundraising as we can and other revenue sources, so that the people who have to pay for the services can get it as cheap as they possibly can. Yeah.
Okay, so you do have, you touched on it earlier, you do have programs for people who would maybe have physical disabilities or intellectual disabilities, or people who are going through serious rehab.
Yeah, so I suppose we do the physical disability streams, intellectual disability streams, and mental health. And mental health is something we'll be focusing on a lot this coming year as well. And we also offer classes and opportunities to people that don't have a disability, and again, that's what helps to subsidise the services. Just to give you an idea, even I suppose, and a taste and a flavour for some of the listeners there of one of the programmes that we did last year. The Minister for Disability funded a pilot programme for us. So we were lucky enough to take 25 individuals that had a diagnosed neurological condition. So we took basically the first 25 people that had contacted us, and that could have been people with a spinal cord injury, a stroke, MS, Parkinson's, and basically we took them through and we did an interview, and we explained to them what we did, and we gave them a list of options that included physiotherapy, occupational therapy, psychotherapy, nutrition, group exercise classes, strength and conditioning, yoga, a whole array of things, and we explained the benefits they might get from each one. And then we built a program around the person. Okay. So it was very person-centered. So basically, each individual in the program for 10 weeks had 3 contacts a week. So they came into the gym, and they might have had one of those different types of services each of those 3 days. And we were measuring the results pre and post.
Was this a pilot program?
This was a pilot program that we were doing, that we were, I suppose, using then to try and show, look, this is a really useful thing. And I suppose the key piece for me was being the person-centred, that the person coming in the door had a choice of how they wanted to access the services and how they wanted it to be built around them. And part of that was that we got an independent company to evaluate the results, and we were very lucky to have a postdoc, so an individual with a PhD, Dr. Damien Duddy, evaluating our thing. So we collected a huge array of data, from kind of how the individuals got on in terms of physical health, mental health, how they felt in terms of social inclusion. And what we found was that for every €1 that was invested in the programme, that it gave a social return investment of €22. So if the government or any funders, would be investing in this particular programme, that it's worth €22 in terms of social return.
And are the government going to invest?
Well, we're going to be working hard now to see where we can access funding. But I mean, for us, the key thing is, even if you have a disability or a mental health issue, how healthy are you in the community? How happy are you in the community? How do you feel? Do you feel socially included? Do you feel you've got a purpose in life? Do you wake up every day kind of looking forward to what you're going to do? And really that physical health and mental health, what we're, I suppose, trying to communicate is that will end up decreasing readmissions into the HSE and the hospital and save the health service longer term, as well as making everyone happier, in the community living with a disability or an issue.
Well, there is a gap there. It's the gap you referred to at the start. I have a spin bike at home, and when I'm on the bike, I watch the videos usually on YouTube, and one of them, I think it's called one day ahead, and it's where this group of cyclists went out one day ahead of the Tour de France, just to see if, as a novice group, could they go around and cover the whole of the Tour de France. Now, not at the same pace, obviously, as the riders, but get around it nonetheless. And it was only the documentary was well through when I realised this is about mental health, because it's a group from Australia, and all of them have various mental health issues, and they were raising money for a mental health charity at home in Australia. And then they went on just to talk about how the group dynamics was helping them, and how a lot of them were a bit weary about embracing it, and waking up and having breakfast every day and somebody there, and them all having to look at videos together and eat together and chat together and all the rest of it, and how they embraced it and they moved into it. So I suppose the point I'm making is there's various programs not involving the Tour de France, but right here on our doorstep, and in a gym such as No Barriers, where people can access them and where the results can be similar.
Yeah, and like you're saying, I think there's something really powerful about that group dynamic, and creating a community and creating an inclusive, friendly space that people want to come to. I know myself, included, whenever I train in the evening or I'm in the gym, it's about, saying hello to someone and someone asking you how your day is going, and just even having that bit of crack and cup of coffee. And for the members and clients coming through the door, I suppose it's well known that people with a disability or people struggling from mental health often can be socially excluded and feel a bit isolated at home. So it's about having that dynamic where you can come in and someone knows your name and, says hello and asks how your day is going, and you can sit and have a cup of tea or coffee, or, just have a bit of crack. And I think that's one of the most powerful pieces of the puzzle, really, is, and then you build the specialist services around that then.
And then all the benefits that exercise or regular exercise brings, all the endorphins that are released. So it's all positive.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, one of the things that we would be noticing as well is feedback from other gym members without a disability. Like I said, our model's quite unique in terms of we have an everyday, I suppose, gym that's operating. We deliver these special services inside that, but gym members that don't have a disability are paying their gym membership, and they could pay that membership anywhere in town. But when they pay that in No Barriers, what they're doing is they're looking across the gym floor and they're maybe seeing somebody that they're subsidising a service for and that they're contributing to. Yeah. And as well, creating that awareness of disability and the awareness of mental health. And, I suppose no matter who you are, everybody in life is going through something, or has a family member that's going through something. So it's just that community, and somebody, even if they're not going through something themselves, when they're contributing towards their gym membership, that they're looking across the room and seeing kind of what difference they're making in the community. Yeah.
Okay, so I suppose a couple of messages to take away. One would be about the fundraising, and that is, whenever it's taking part, whenever there's a 5K or a draw, please do contribute, please do take part. The other is, come try it out. I mean, just being a member is supporting other less able and maybe less able to afford members, just by being a member, and also if you feel that the gym can be of use, if you have a long-term disability or injury, or if you're struggling with your mental health, get in touch or call in.
Yeah, 100%. Don't be shy to lift the phone or email in, and if we can in any way, we'll try and help you as best we can. And as you said, that's if you do or don't have a disability. So If you want to get involved in the gym side, we'll help you get involved. But if you have a disability at home, physical disability or intellectual disability, or if you're struggling a wee bit with your mental health, just don't be a stranger.
Very
just
welcoming
lift the phone.
place. As a gym. Okay, there's no barriers. Just a few doors over here at Mountaintop Letterkenny. Johnny Loughrey, thanks a million.
Thank you, John. Cheers.
Around the Northwest with Virgin